Get out your notebooks. I don't see anyone doing it. Good morning, class.
Good morning.
As you know, we sent out an email to the graduating class of 2019, reminding you all today that today is the review for your final exam. I don't need to impress you with its importance. Some of you, I understand, have even dreamed about it. Those who pass will be instrumental in raising the consciousness of the entire planet Earth into the fifth dimension. And then welcoming, the galaxy will welcome the Earth as the newest ascension planet. But those who don't pass the final exam will remain in the third dimension. Of course, you're used to it. Frankly, I prefer to rise above it. This curriculum has been called Reincarnation. It included classes that teach that the one being is actually each one of us, even though we certainly appear to be different individuals. It taught us that we must incarnate on Earth over and over again in different physical forms of all types, different races, different genders, colors, and economic classes. Each time we wear a different body until we finally learn what? What did we learn? That there is one being, all. I don't like the fact that no one shouted that out. So I'm going to have to repeat that a few times. Another subject we study is the illusion of time. This class teaches that time is an illusion experienced only on Earth, our holographic school. Reality is actually timeless, just like God. Reality never begins and it never ends. It is the eternal now, the present. Reality is never separated into past, present, and future. There is no separation. We are here to learn that this is the world of cause, filled with infinite potentiality. Not this world that we see, the infinite world of now, of timelessness, spacelessness, infinity. We are to finally conquer the illusion that anything that is visible causes nothing. I don't care if it's a wart on your nose. Well, you care. I don't care whether it's $1 in your wallet, whether it's a tumor in your head. If you can see it, it's not real. Earth demonstrates that the effects of what is done in the invisible world, the world of cause, that's the place where everything begins. A fourth-year course, as you all know, is called The Death of Death. I always liked that class. Did you like it, class?
Yes.
Good. It teaches us to understand that what we think of death is simply the end of the grade in that current Earth school year, and the exchange of the body we wore for that grade for one that's better for the next higher grade. So you could look forward to death. Imagine a brand new body. People love to get a new car. Why not a new body? So think of it as a brand new uniform to wear for each grade. There's no death. There's only one being, wearing better and better clothes, and thinking higher and higher thoughts, and knowing more. When we pass all the final exams, especially the one that you're going to be getting soon, our next life or grade is always easier. When we fail, we have to take the same grade over and over, repeat the subjects that we flunked until we pass. Easterners call this karma. Westerners call this the school of hard knocks. Until they realize it's just the cause and effect world. We must also learn that Earth is a free will planet. This means that there is only one energy and one substance, but we've been given free will to use the one energy and substance as we choose. We can use it for good or evil. Remember the famous tree in the Bible, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The knowledge, notice, is the word. This illustrated it's your freedom to choose between A or B, good or evil, light or dark, anything that's opposite. But we're to learn that the fruits of that tree, the effects of the choices we make, well, they can be bittersweet. One fruit can be bittersweet if you made the wrong choice, and the other can be just delicious if you make the right choice. It was a beautiful, simple analogy for children. Now, for us, electricity is a simple analogy of one power but two opposite uses. It's one energy and one power, but it can be used in many ways, but first two opposite ways. You can use it to light a Christmas tree or to electrocute a person for two very different effects. One cause, one power, one electricity. So who's responsible for the good or the bad things that appear later on earth as a result of our choices? God? The one power? Nope. Our free will choices. Each one of us is responsible for the choices we make and the effects that it causes in the world of appearances. You create your world with the decisions you make mentally. You create your karma. That's really what you flunk your class, you take it over again, that's all. In modern terms, the law of karma is expressed as what goes around and comes around. Jesus taught karma as the second great commandment following love one another. And I like that. That kind of looks like Darth Vader. The one power, that's a good one. The Christmas tree or an electrocution. I just finally got this. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. Why? Because there's only one being that's being done unto, or that's doing. It's the same being. If you do something to someone else, you think it's really you got revenge on them, guess who you're also hurting? Yourself. You're only doing it to another variation of yourself. Each one of us in this room is one self, isn't it? It's hard to believe because we look so different. We act so different. We all talk different. We think differently, but it doesn't matter. There's just one self sitting in each seat in this room. And guess who that self is? The one presence and power. Now, Moses taught karma and its effects to the children of Israel when he got the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not, babies. He taught them to the children of Israel because they were immature race of basically primitive people. So they had to be told what not to do. Bad girl, don't do that. You know, kick your hand, keep it away from the fire. Because children don't understand words yet. They have to Have a little slap, but maybe that's illegal these days. Later, Jesus taught that there was another way to avoid bad karma. He said we must forgive those who have offended us. And you know, it takes years sometimes. And if you don't believe you're the one God, you think you're somebody different from that, then you create a miserable reality, or at least not a perfect one. Because unless you know you're God, you're not going to have a perfect world. The minute you know who you really are, things change. So in God, we really do move, live, and have our being. People call this omnipresent energy by different names. God, substance, energy, or the modern physicists, they call it the field. But they're all names, many different names for the one being expressing as us. Do you realize how boring it would be if a painting had just one person on it over and over again? Think of it in your mind. You could even take your own, although that may be just darling for you. But if you just take your own person and see it, stamp it, if each one of us looked alike, how would we know who we were talking to? How would we know anything, really? I mean, who would we marry, ourselves? I mean, yes, but we don't know that. What a god-awful thought. I mean, what a wonderful thought. So there's really only one presence and one power, one invisible actor appearing in many roles, wearing many costumes. Some are cute and some not so hot. That's why we all identify ourselves by saying, I am. I think I have this in here later, but I can't resist right now. When Moses asked God what his name was, he said, I am that I am. I think God meant, I am that I am, I am that I am, I am that I am. And I mean, when you look at it as that way, there's so many words that change their meaning as you change your understanding. Because we bring our consciousness to every word we read, whether it's in the Bible or in a book. And one day you think, geez, I read that book 30 years ago. Boy, it got smart. Now, let's look at history for a minute. The Crusades, what was that? A war fought on religious differences. Oh, that's it. A miracle. The Crusades were a war fought on religious differences. World War I, class differences. It ended the rule of the classes over the masses. It resulted in equality instead of quality. To me, all you have to do is look at Downton Abbey. The Civil War, all based on the right of freedom of men based on what color. World War II tried to exterminate a whole race based on the belief that they were different from the Aryan races. And then along came women. Not that they weren't there early, but they were chattel to men for centuries and centuries. It was just, I'm not sure of the date anymore, but when they got their freedom from being chattel. But I know they didn't get the vote till like 1920 or something like that. 19 who? 1919. I'm usually close. Segregation, again based on color, the whites and the blacks. And yet, Martin Luther King exemplified the best and purest ideas of equality, love, and peace. And the white governor of Georgia, governor of Alabama, died fighting for the right to hate, separate, and dominate. The LGBT, a war based on sexual differences. HIV, a war based on people who had a disease. And on TV news right now, we have present histories, present challenges, but again, separate us, divide us. You believe this, can't stand you.
Yeah.
You believe that, can't stand you. To me, not liking whoever might be president or running for president, I don't want to lose one single friend over the appearance of something which is really not real anyway. So the lessons we need from Learn to History is one, stop all forms of separation based on outer differences. Use righteous judgment. That means using your judgment rightly. See the truth that we are all indivisible one underneath. Differences are merely variety. I know this may be repetitious and seem like oversimplification, but it certainly is that every negative event originates from just two wrong beliefs. My notes say one, but in the meantime, I realize it's two. The belief that we are separate from each other, separate from God. That's why Charles Fillmore, who was obviously awake, called us unity, to stress there is no separation. I am is also the present tense of being. Those two simple words, I am, are present. I am present now, always, forever, everywhere. There is no time or space. Modern science is finally discovering this to be a fact also. We are all enrolled in the School of Earth, and this, of course, this class will graduate or not. When we finally learn that we're all equal, no matter all our outer differences, when we take off all our costumes and we have a revelation, we see the one being, one actor was really wearing the costume all along. The course all of us are taking in this room on earth is called Oneness 101. It's the number one course because we must discover this. That's why I've been hammering it over and over again. That's why unity's thing that we all say in the very beginning is there is only one presence, one power active in the universe and in my life, and we are one with that power. The things that we say every day and yet we do not understand. And it sometimes takes years and often a hit on the head and sometimes flunking and getting a really bad grade like an F on your report card to wake you up. It's time we graduate. It's the crown of the mysteries, the ascension. We and the planet need to ascend to higher and higher frequencies and vibrations. Heaven has been here all along. But until our consciousness is high enough to see it, we see what we create, not what God created. Because He created in His own image and likeness, perfection. We create quite a bit less perfectly. I may be damaging somebody in this room. There may be somebody here who has everything perfect, like me. Our next lives depend on what we choose in this life. So I want each of us to repeat one thing after me today, using the words here. Let us say, I am dropping my karma today. I am dropping my karma today. I am dropping my karma today. Second, one more time. I am dropping my karma today. You just used the power of God to cause something to be. So now you're released from karma, not class. Let's all graduate together. Remember, always use I am for good, because that is the absolute power of God that you're using. There is no little human I. There's only one presence, the Christ, the Son. The many visible appearances of the invisible I, the Father. We are all pregnant with the Christ within. When we all give birth or deliver the perfect outer expression of God, symbolized by the baby, there will be peace on earth, just like the angels sang. We're all one, and all one, the one. Call the doctor. It's almost time to deliver. The pains are 2 minutes apart. Are you ready?
Yes.
I am. Class dismissed. Good luck.
Now, do you want to go right into your meditation?
Oh, yes. Now?
Yes.
Oh. This is a different person now. It's time for the meditation. And this time when you go into the meditation and you go within, realize that that's the real world you're entering. So that when we close our eyes and we don't listen to the outer influences, we don't see the world of appearances, we go within to the world where everything already is within us. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within. I suspect earth is also. But we created that in our own image, forgetting that it was created originally and perfectly by the one that we really are. Go within. Find yourself. There's only one self, one being, one presence, one power, one being, all. Out of one, many. A pluribus unum. And now let's go into the absolute silence and listen to our voice, the voice of God within. It is not I, but the Father within who doeth his works. The one being who expresses as us. You are wonderful, full of one. Anyone, everyone, someone, one. And now let's come back knowing who we really are. And as we do, we create peace on earth. Because we are men and women of goodwill, of the will of God. Because we know there is only one. The one. God bless everybody and get ready for Christmas, especially the inner one.